Well, welcome tonight. My name is Amy Perry, and I work at the regional office at Foothills for those students who may not know me, as well as for Ms. Hefner and Mr. Reynolds. We have Beth Hefner here with us tonight, who is from Lanier Tech, as well as Chip Reynolds from Lanier Tech, and we are so excited. And we have Dr. Dale Simpson with us too from Foothills, and we are here tonight to explain a beautiful, wonderful opportunity for our students. So, with that, I'm going to hand it over to Dr. Simpson and let him share with you some information. And then Miss Sarah Owen, who is a counselor here at Foothills, she will be talking with you as well as myself. So, with that, Dr. Simpson, would you like to take it away?
Sure thing. And before we start, Miss Perry, I do want to introduce Mr. Michael Myers. He is with Miss Hefner there. He's one of the most important folks on this call. I believe that, are you the program director, Mr. Myers?
Yes, sir.
All right. So program director and instructor for the criminal justice program. So he knows more about the criminal justice program than anybody else on the call. And so, Mr. Myers, thank you so much for being with us.
My pleasure.
Absolutely. I also just want to say, listen, I have chill bumps right now just looking at the number of students and families who are on this call. We love nothing more than to talk with students and families about opportunities to graduate, but also opportunities to graduate ready for your next chapter. And so I just think this is such a great opportunity for our students and their families to pursue their high school diploma, but also lean into a career field that is really interesting to them. And so we're certainly going to talk through more of the details, but the special thing about this criminal justice cohort is that it will be offered in a virtual setting. And so students from our virtual locations or any of our in-person locations can opt in. And so you can participate. And so I just couldn't be more thankful for you all stepping forward and expressing interest in this career cohort that hopefully aligns to a career interest of yours. And so we've already went through some introductions, but I want to introduce you to the Accelerated Career Diploma Program. And I recognize that many folks on this call may not be familiar with this program. I'm going to provide a high-level overview, and then Ms. Owen will go into more of the details of what this looks like in practice. But if you look at this Venn diagram, I'm not presenting, so I can't draw on it, but the Venn diagram to the left says acceleration. And when you accelerate, you start moving faster, right? You remember that from physics and physical science. This program allows you to accelerate or speed up toward earning your high school diploma. Instead of having to complete all 23 academic credits for a traditional graduation plan, if you will, you're able to complete 9 required high school courses. And it can't just be any 9, it has to be the right 9. But through this program, you can speed up toward graduation. I know that that's important to many of you. If it's important to you and you're a student or a parent on here, can you know how to use the emojis on here and give me a little thumbs up? Does it sound good? I thought so. I don't think anybody sees any issue with speeding up their progress toward walking across that stage and graduating from high school. The other side of that Venn diagram is career training. We want you to walk across that stage, students, and we want you to be confident and we want you to be hopeful about your future because you have a plan, you've got some experience, and you have some credentials. And that's the beauty of the Accelerated Career Diploma Program right there in the middle, is that through this plan, you get that career training by earning technical certificates of credit from our great partner, Lanier Technical College. But you also get to speed up on the academic side, and it is a beautiful situation for you students. And so I'm so thankful that you're here you're investing in yourself tonight by seeking out this opportunity to learn more about this program. We are actually, it's part of our strategic plan at Foothills, which is like a long-term document that guides your decisions as you go through the years. One of our strategic plan elements is to increase programs like Accelerated Career. And so we're partnering with Lanier Technical College on 2 of those programs. One is an in-person automotive program that will be offered in Winder. The other is the virtual criminal justice program, which you're going to learn more about this evening. And then we're offering an in-person program in emergency medical responder, which is like healthcare, at our location in Butts County. Miss Allen's on the call. Miss Allen, can you give us a little bit of a wave there? So we're offering several new opportunities for our students to take advantage of this accelerated career diploma pathway. And you're here right now to learn about that criminal justice piece.
So we're going to start out by talking about what are those requirements for an accelerated career diploma and kind of how is that different from a traditional high school diploma. So like Dr. Simpson said, this offers you kind of a unique path to high school graduation. And it does have less high school requirements, but kind of the trade-off to that is that you're getting post-secondary or college education at the same time in order to get your high school diploma. So on the high school side of things, you only need 9 high school credits. You need 2 English language arts courses, one of which has to be with an EOC. So depending on your grade level, you may have taken American Lit or you may be taking Lit and Comp 2. The other English can be from any English class. You'll need 2 math credits, one of which has to be Algebra 1 because that has that EOC course. And then you'll need 2 science classes, one of which has to be biology because, again, it has the EOC. And then you need 2 social studies courses. And in this area, you don't have to have a social studies with an EOC. So any 2 social studies credits can qualify in the 2 social studies area. You will also need to have health and personal fitness. So those classes make up the 9 high school requirements that students have to have. And then you have to complete something on the post-secondary or college side. So you have the option of doing 2 technical certificates of credit or a TCC, or a program that leads to licensure, or a diploma program. Now, for this criminal justice program, we're focusing on completing 2 TCCs to get you to graduation. But keep in mind that TCCs build into diploma and associate's degree classes. So if you decide that you want to go on after graduation, you can complete more on the post-secondary side to earn a bigger credential with a diploma or an associate's of applied science degree. So we kind of are calling this 9+2 because you have 9 high school credits and then you need to earn 2 TCCs.
Okay, Ms. Hefner, I think this is going to be for you and Mr. Myers to be able to talk through just what does that program look like for our students.
Okay. So we do have, there are 2 technical certificates of credit, criminal justice specialist, and I forgot the name of the other one. But when you finish, you'll have the 2 certificates, and Mr. Myers is going to talk to you about what's involved in those courses that you'll be taking. And some of the classes are the same in both certificates. So you're going to be completing them both simultaneously, really, at the same time. What type of career opportunities are available?
Well, there's anything but the obvious to become a police officer, but you can go into other fields. You can go into private security. I've got a lot of students that want to be, they want CSI, they want to be a crime scene tech, and this will certainly get you started in that area. Got students that want to become investigators. My background, I started in a jail. And I worked my way all the way up through, I was over investigation. So I've worked about every aspect in law enforcement. And the career paths are literally endless because if you have a personal interest, like at one time in my career, I was issued a police package Mustang and a Harley Davidson. And they paid me to come to work every day and drive fast and catch people. So Really, no matter what you're interested, there's a path you can go down for criminal justice.
What are some of the different areas? I know you said you were in the K-9 unit, you were on the
Yeah.
lake, you did.
I started out working in the jail, which I recommend everybody do, and I'll talk a little bit about that as we go on. But I worked on patrol. I worked in what's called a traffic unit, so we did basically the same job as the state patrol does, where all we did was go after traffic violations, and we worked serious injury accidents and fatalities. And I see one of the things you need up there is algebra. I know when I was in school, I went, who in the world is ever going to need this for anything? And then when I started getting certified as an accident investigator, I found it was all kind of algebra I needed. So it really, that'll help you a lot. I promise you'll use it. So anyway, I worked there. I worked in training for a long time. I was on lake patrol. So I went out and patrolled Lake Lanier. Like I said, I was over investigations. I worked investigation or crimes against children. I worked property crimes where people steal stuff and crimes against people, anything from a simple assault all the way up to a murder investigation. And very rewarding. I was on the SWAT team for 25 years, and I was very blessed and just had a wonderful career. And I look back on it and think I was just very, very blessed.
And now he teaches criminal justice.
Yes.
To people how to be police officers, and he is our reigning instructor of the year right now at Lanier Tech.
That's
I'm
awesome.
very proud of him.
There were a couple of questions.
Yeah, the Georgia State Patrol. I
Yes.
think you said, is that a?
Yeah.
Can this
Yes.
lead to Georgia State?
Yes, so you can, and I have students that's went on and they did their internship with the state patrol. What I try to do is when my students take on an internship, I like to know where they want to go. So if they want to work for the DNR, which DNR only does their internships in the summertime, I try to get them an internship with the DNR.
That's the Department of Natural Resources.
Yes, and same with the state patrol. So you can work in local government, like for a police department, a sheriff's office, that thing. You can work at the state level. You can work for the Georgia State Patrol. You can work for the Department of Natural Resources, DNR. They enforce like hunting and fishing laws. Or you can go to work for GBI, which is Georgia Bureau of Investigations, and they are basically the state version of the FBI. And I was fortunate in 2007, I graduated from the FBI's National Academy. So I've got contacts at all levels.
Somebody mentioned K-9. Yeah, most police, what am I trying to say? Organizations have K-9 units,
Yes,
right?
yes.
Yeah.
We had in our K-9 unit, we had tracking dogs, which are basically like your bloodhound dogs. We've got apprehension dogs, or we call them bite dogs, the dogs that will help you in a physical confrontation. We also had drug dogs that would sniff out various drugs, and we had dogs that would sniff out explosives. And the way I try to explain a canine or a dog, we can walk into a room and smell cookies baking. When a dog walks in the room, they smell the flour, they smell the sugar, they smell all the ingredients. So they're just phenomenal.
Somebody said lawyer in the chat. This certainly would be a start.
Yes,
I mean, if you
yes.
think you want to go to law school, this would be a great TCC to do because, like in
Yes.
intro to criminal justice, you're going to learn about American criminal justice system. You're going to learn about constitutional limitations. You're going to, there's a lot of things that definitely would apply to being a lawyer.
Yes, and I've had several students that did their internship either at the prosecution side, whether they went and did it at the DA's office or the solicitor's office, and that's kind of the lawyers that prosecute the crimes. But then they've also went and did their internships for like local law defense attorneys, things like that. So I've had them do everything.
Did we miss any questions about the careers? Would this help us becoming a private investigator?
Yes, absolutely.
Yes. Okay. All right. Well, Michael's going to talk a little bit about the two courses that we are offering for spring semester are Intro to Criminal Justice and no, that's the wrong title. Anyway,
Oh, I put the wrong title.
it is Intro to Criminal Justice and Corrections. So he's just going to talk a little bit about what's covered in those two classes.
I thought there was another one. Anyway.
Oh, I'm sorry. You're right. It's Intro to Criminal Justice and it is Principles of Law Enforcement. Principles is what we're doing
Sorry.
first. Right.
My typo. So the first one is, and I think Amy or somebody touched on this earlier. The good thing about our program is all our courses stand independently, and all our courses you get credit for. So you never have to worry about taking a class in criminal justice that it's always going to count towards your diploma or your degree. So the first one is the Intro to Criminal Justice, and that's basically an introduction to the criminal justice system. We talk about things like criminal justice in America, how it's applicable, constitutional limitations, and we focus on the constitutional law as it pertains to the criminal justice system. So sometimes people get a little bit nervous on that, but the biggest one we deal with in criminal justice is probably your Fourth Amendment, which is search and seizure, and in the Eighth Amendment, a lot cruel and unusual punishment we do with that. And then we talk a lot in there about the various organizations that I just talked about and how they branch out, how your local law enforcement works, how the state works, how the federal works. And there's great opportunities at all levels. They're obviously looking for people. This is a good line of work to where you can, at 18 years old, you can go to work in a jail in the state of Georgia, and the starting pay is pretty phenomenal for somebody out there.
Okay, and then Principles of Law Enforcement.
Principles of Law Enforcement, we cover some of the same stuff, but we also cover stuff like becoming a cop. What is it you do to become a cop? And one thing I say to all the young people everywhere, I used to do internal affairs. That's where I investigated police officers, and I did a lot of background checks. And I would have to say the number one disqualifier that I found in recent time is social media. So if you got things out there on social media, I would say, it's like a reputation. You can start today building a new one. So clean that all up and keep it that way. We also cover things like police discretion, whether, and what that simply means is whether we're going to arrest somebody or not, whether we're going to write them a ticket or write them a warning, or how that works. What's the best course of action? We cover some of the core functions of law enforcement. We also cover things like community policing. I've told people time and time again, if law enforcement does not have the support of the public, then law enforcement's going to fail. So you really need to work with your communities. And then we cover stuff like policing in the modern era. I started policing back in the 80s, and wow, has things changed since then. And then we also talk about things like civil liability, things that basically will get you and your department sued.
Okay. Let's see. The next question was, when will classes begin and what are the dates and times? So we are going to teach, these are going to be virtual classes where you will meet online, live on the computer with your instructor. The times will be Tuesday and Thursdays from 6 to 7:50. And first day class is what? January 12th. So January 12th is when classes begin. It'll be every Tuesday and Thursday from 6 to 7:50 for those two classes. And how much does it cost? Well, if you're a dual enrollment student, everything's free.
All right. Do y'all have any other comments for the students or?
Ms. Hefner, would you mind talking through the Comp 1000 class as well?
Yes, we're also, as part of this certificate, these two certificates, one of them requires Introduction to Computer Literacy, which is a basic computer class. They do Word, PowerPoint, Excel, those kinds of things. And Dr. Simpson and I discussed this, and he's thinking that, y'all probably could do this, just have this one, be a totally online class. It wouldn't be a virtual class. You would have all your assignments and everything through, online, and you work at your own pace, but you'd have deadlines that you have to meet. And we could certainly arrange for weekly tutoring sessions if there were people that wanted to come in and had questions. And, we could have live tutoring sessions on the computer for anybody who might be struggling. But most of y'all have grown up on computers. You probably won't have one bit of trouble with that class. And Dr. Simpson, I discussed this with my program director today. And I think what we want to do, once we kind of have an idea of how many we've got, we're probably just going to open a separate section. It won't be just for the Foothills students, but we want all of them to be in the same section. We want them all to have the same teacher. So we would make that a priority for your students. And of course, it'd be open up to regular students as well.
That's great. Thank you so much.
All right.
Any other questions for us? Okay.
We've got several that are coming through the chat that we are trying to respond to along the way.
Angel has her hand up, it looks like.
Yes, Angel, what is your question?
Okay, my daughter is considered a program student. She goes to Social Circle, but she does Foothills, so she can cheer. So they consider her a program student, which will be ending at the end of this year anyway. But would she have to be a full-time Foothills student in order to take advantage of this, even though she comes in on campus for Foothills?
She could definitely participate. We would just need to collaborate with Social Circle City Schools to make sure that she's signed up and that they process things on their end, and they would have to approve it. But as long as this career program aligns with her goals, I don't think you would have a problem getting that approved.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Okay, I have a question.
Okay, go right ahead.
So I used to go to YCA actually. Would I still be classified able to do these classes?
So you went to the Youth Challenge program and now you're in YCP Extension, is that right?
Yes.
Oh yeah, you can absolutely participate. Thank you for asking. It would be a great setup for you.
Okay, and then how would we know if we got accepted? Would y'all email us or tell us?
That's an excellent question, and we're actually going to talk a little bit about the process for getting started. But essentially, to give you a little preview, our Foothills team members will meet with you and your parent individually and walk you through every step that you have to take in terms of submitting an application, submitting a Georgia Futures form, and all of that. And so we will walk you through how to do that and then what the next steps are in terms of hearing back from the college.
Thank you.
All right, we've got a couple more hands up. Delene?
No, that was me. I just answered. He just answered.
All right, we've got that one. And is it Miss Taylor Tizia? Y'all can open your mic and go ahead and ask your question if you'd like, those who have your hands raised.
I have one question.
Okay.
If the program starts on January the 12th, what's the ending date? Like, I know it's the courses, but like, when would the end date be?
Final exams are May 5th and 6th.
Yep.
All
And
right.
it is a 2-semester program in order to finish both certificates. Yep.
Okay, so May, the final exam is in May. So would that be the 2 semesters, or is that considered one?
That's just one semester. Then you would have to, I don't know. We haven't talked past that, whether it be summer or fall. I'm not sure how y'all do your semesters, but you'd have to come one more semester to get the rest of the classes for the 2 TCCs.
Okay, gotcha. Thank you.
So I was wondering, I'm sorry, how y'all doing?
Hey,
Doing well.
So I was wondering, when are the credits and stuff due? If that makes sense. Like, when is the 9-credit thing, or it don't matter when it's done?
And Miss Owen is fixing to speak to that. If you have 7 of the 9 courses already in place, then you could go ahead and start with this particular cohort. However, if we encourage you to have all 9 of them completed, but if you don't, you only have 7 of them, then we encourage you to go ahead and you can sign up for this cohort and you'll continue to complete your high school courses at the same time. Does that answer your question?
Like, say if I get it done by December, when will I start? I mean, I'm like probably January. Say if I get it done by January.
If you got your courses, 7 of your courses,
Yeah.
then you would need to have those before you actually start with the technical school. But you can talk with your counselor and talk with your site administrator, and they will be able to work through where you are a little bit better in order to be able to help you.
No,
make the decision.
no. That's not what I'm asking.
Okay.
When I'm completed with the stuff that's required for me to start.
Right. Yeah.
When, like, do you start immediately or do you start at a certain point?
Well, the classes will begin in January for the criminal justice cohort. So we will be looking at students will be looking at their transcripts now to determine if they've met those 9 course requirements. If you haven't, then you can be working toward that before January. And then if you have them by the 1st of January, then you should be good to go to start in January with this particular cohort.
But if you don't finish, if you don't finish till February, you'll have to wait till the next semester. You won't be able to start after the semester's begun, if that's what you're asking.
All right. I think that some of these questions may be actually answered in the next couple. Are there any questions specific to the criminal justice courses and classes and career options that they've just presented from Lanier Tech? If there are, we want to answer those questions now. But I think that some of these other questions about specifics on your coursework and when you can take the classes, that Ms. Owen will help you with that information.
Well, I have a question regarding, like, will our site directors reach out to us or will we have to reach out to them? Like, I wasn't sure if our application got sent straight to them and they would see it, or if we had to reach out to them to ask them questions.
We will be taking the information from those, when you fill out that interest form that I've just dropped into the chat, you're going to get it again. They will be notified and they will reach out to you. If they don't reach out to you, then you need to go reach out to them. At the end of this presentation, we actually have the names of the contacts at the sites. So you could write down the name and make sure that you go speak with them this week to make sure that they know that you want to participate.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. All right. Now we're going to let Ms. Owen talk with us a little bit more about the 9 plus the 2.
All right, so we've had quite a few good questions come through the chat that kind of are asking about those 9 credits. And I do want to stress, you need to talk to your site contact, the counselor that's going to be kind of helping with the Accelerated Career Diploma program. And we'll share those contacts in a later slide. But that is going to be your best resource to make sure that you have the right 9 credits. And they are also going to walk you through the entire process for applying to the technical college, completing the funding application and any other requirements to ensure that you're set up for this program. But each of the sites also has flyers that advertise these cohort programs. And so the back side of the flyer looks like this, and it has it laid out for you again. You've got to have those 2 English credits, one of which has to be that Lit and Comp 2, or depending on your cohort, it could have been American Lit where the EOC was, and then the math courses. And then down at the very bottom, it also outlines all of the college courses that you have to take in order to earn the 2 TCCs. And so we had a lot of questions about this too, like, can I graduate before I earn my TCC? The answer is no. You have to have all 9 credits completed, and you have to have earned both certificates in order to be marked as a graduate. And the only way you can earn your certificates is by passing your classes. Okay, so that's another important thing, is that you have to be successful in all of your classes in order to earn those certificates. Trying to scroll through and make sure that we answer some of the other questions that were about this. So several of you asked, like, if I have one more class to complete, or if I have this many classes complete, when can I begin? We need to have 7 of the 9 high school courses completed before we get started. But I say that with some caution, because I think it is better for you to have all 9 high school courses completed first, so that you can solely focus on your college coursework. If you still have high school requirements, you kind of have to live in both worlds, and you're still going to be working towards completing these high school classes at the same time that you're working on these college courses. And that can just be a lot to manage. You may have plenty of time on your hands and be able to do both at the same times, but you may also be that kind of person that's like, oh no, I need to kind of live in one world at one point in time. This particular cohort is starting in January, but our goal is to offer it again in the future. So there's going to be a later time that you can get started in this cohort. And we also don't always have to exist in a cohort. The Accelerated Career Diploma program is not something that you have to do kind of on a set timeline. We have lots of students across all Foothills sites that are already pursuing Accelerated Career Diploma kind of independently at their own pace. But we felt like, in order to offer you all some dedicated support, that we wanted to offer it just to our Foothills students, so that you would all be together, and then we could really track your progress, follow along, communicate with your instructor, and then provide additional support that's really focused where you need it.
And I just want to add something. If you don't get in January for the spring semester, you can jump in on the second semester. You don't have to do them in order. And then we could offer those classes that you missed the following semester. So
Okay.
They don't have prerequisites, is what I'm trying to say. You can jump in either group.
That's good to know. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
All right, do we have any questions about the high school or college classes?
I did see one question asking about is it going to be fall, or is it going to be in the summer, the second semester? And that decision has not quite been made yet. We will certainly let you know and have that conversation. Is that correct, Ms. Hafner?
Yeah, we really didn't speak past spring semester, so
Yeah.
We can do either. We can do it either here. The only difference is summer semester is only 8 weeks, so whatever they take will be doubled.
Okay.
It's accelerated in the summer, so it's like taking a half a semester, taking 4 courses in a half a semester. So that can be a little challenging to try to do 3 classes that are doubled up.
Sure. All right. Students, we're going to move on to and parents, we're going to move on to the next slide. This is where you can sign up today to express your interest. And I've dropped the interest document inside of the chat. I've sent you all to the website. You can scan this QR code. It will also send you to the interest document where you can fill it out. And it's very easy. It doesn't mean that you're committing to this. What it does mean is you're saying, hey, I might be interested in participating, and I'd like to talk with someone a little bit further. Once you've actually submitted it, then we will have either an administrator and or counselor from your site talk with you and your parent and walk you through the whole process of being able to complete an application, looking at your transcript, making sure all of the requirements are met. And then you will be able to hopefully have an orientation in the spring of the year with the technical college and with Foothills, and you'll be provided some supports to be able to help you along the way. So I'm going to leave that there just a minute so you can scan that QR code should you want to. But like I said, the form is also in the chat and it's on our website under the Accelerated Career Diploma.
Miss Perry, could I add just a couple of things about the interest form?
Sure.
Okay, number one, it is an interest form. It is not necessarily a commitment form. And so if you're remotely interested in the program, then please sign up so that one of our local site directors or counselors can have a good conversation with you and talk about the pros and cons. And then the second thing that I wanted to add was that time is of the essence, right? Because one, space may be limited, and two, it starts in January. And so it is really important, if you think that this could be a path for you to go ahead and submit that form so that you can start having conversations with the folks at your site to make sure that it matches up with where you are in your high school journey, and then, of course, your future career plans as well. And the third thing is, this is a really easy way for you to just raise your hand and say, yep, I want to learn more. You do not have to be overwhelmed by, an application and all of that stuff. We will help you with all of that. So just submit the short form. I think there's just 4 or 5 fields.
Thank you. All right. And the next thing we want you all to be aware of is who the contacts are at your sites. So you will see here are the sites, and we have the administrator who is the contact person as well as the counselor. So you can jot down that name at your site and go and talk with those individuals to make sure that you get whatever information that you need. It may be information about criminal justice, or you may say, you know what, I don't know that criminal justice is what I want to do, but I'm definitely interested in accelerated career. So whatever your information that you want or need, make sure that you talk with these folks because they are there to help you. We've talked with them about the importance of making sure they're on this call tonight, hearing all of this information. So just reach out to them. And then we have a couple of more slides that Ms. Owen is going to go over with you.
So just a few things that we want to stress. We want to continue supporting you throughout your dual enrollment or accelerated career journey. Don't want you to think that we're just kind of tossing you into post-secondary education and you're not going to know kind of who to ask for help and that kind of thing. And definitely taking virtual classes can lead to some uncertainty and like, well, how do I get help if I need help? And that's what we're here for. And we are going to make sure that you kind of have everything that you need so that you can be successful in these classes. So the first thing is that we want you on site to join your virtual class. So if you're doing the virtual criminal justice program, we want you to come into your face-to-face site. If you're at a face-to-face site, if you're at our virtual site, obviously you'll continue logging in from home, but we want you on site so that if you're having technology issues, if you're unable to log in, kind of whatever the case may be, that we can troubleshoot that with you and just make sure that you have every opportunity to be successful in your classes. We are also going to be in regular communication with your instructor and asking about your grades. Are you turning in all of your assignments and ensuring that you are attending regularly? Again, these classes, while they are virtual, they are happening on Tuesday and Thursday evenings. The only one that is asynchronous is the Comp 1000 class, but we still want to support you with that. If you're struggling to understand an assignment or you need support with that, we are here to help with you with that. But we're going to be regularly communicating with your instructor to make sure that if you start falling behind or are struggling with anything, that we can kind of intervene and make sure that you have every opportunity for success. Study support or tutoring as needed. Our mentors, your assigned mentor, is going to continue checking on you weekly. And you do need to continue talking to them. Even if you're not taking classes on a Foothills campus anymore and you're solely doing the accelerated career classes, you need to keep updating your mentor. They're going to be the kind of the first person that can intervene and get you help if you say, hey, I'm really struggling with this assignment, or I was having trouble with my internet. What can I do? They're going to help let us know if you need something. But definitely you can also just reach out to the folks at your site if you need anything. We're also going to be adding some roles at each site so that we can just provide more comprehensive support and make sure that we don't, because y'all are very interested in this program and there are a lot of you. So we want to make sure we have enough people to support that moving forward. I think Beth spoke about this a little while ago, but the dual enrollment program covers all of your tuition for the accelerated career classes. So your tuition is going to be paid for by the state of Georgia. And then your books are going to be loaned to you through your campus library. So there are no cost to you for this program. Everything is covered for you. And then we are going to try to remove any barriers that may pop up in your life. So if you find that you need a gas card to get to the campus so that you can log in at the site, we just need to know that that's what you need in order to be successful in your classes and to kind of remove those barriers for you. And we can definitely meet those needs. We also know that sometimes plans change. Again, we've said that you definitely need to talk with your on-site counselor, make sure this is the best fit for you and that this is going to meet your plans. But definitely if we get in the middle of these classes and we decide this is not maybe the right path for us, we can backtrack and we can talk about other options that may be a better fit with the Accelerated Career Program or with the traditional diploma. And just as a reminder, you know, the state of Georgia wants to invest in you. And so we want you to take advantage of those opportunities. But you also need to make sure that you're ready for this commitment. It is college classes. They do have a start date of January 12th, and they do have an end date. I think it was May 5th for final exams. So you do have to be able to turn your work in on time and kind of meet the pace of the class. And you know best what you have going on in your life. You know, if you're working 40 hours a week and you work late nights on Tuesdays and Thursdays, you're going to have to talk with your employer about having those nights free so that you can join your classes. So you have to think about what's going to be best for you, and you may have to make some adjustments in order to pursue this. But we are definitely here to support and help in any way that we can.